My name is Janny, and this is the story of how my husband's life turned into a nightmare overnight. Jake is a good man, a dedicated police officer, an honest worker, and above all, a loving husband and father. He always put his duty first, never backing down from danger. Time and time again, he would come home with bruises and wounds from fighting criminals. But no matter how rough his day was, he never forgot to smile for me and our children, our little girl, only 2 years old, and our son, 3. We were a happy family until that night. It all started when Jake was on his usual patrol. He saw a man abandoning his bike and running away at full speed. Something about the man's actions seemed suspicious. Instinct kicked in and Jake chased him. The pursuit led him to an abandoned shopping mall, dark and empty. But as soon as he stepped inside, he realized this was a trap. From the shadows, nearly 20 men emerged, surrounding him. His hand reached for his weapon, but before he could react, they rushed him. One of them, wearing a long coat, gave a simple command: "Tie him up." They took his uniform. One of them wore it. Jake had no idea what they wanted, what their purpose was. All he knew was that he was helpless. The next morning, one of them came back, tossed his uniform near him, and freed him. Just like that, they didn't say a word. They disappeared before he could grab them. Confused and barefoot, Jake walked home under the burning sun. When I saw him, exhausted and disoriented, my heart shattered. I ran to him, hugging him tight. "Where were you all night?" I asked, tears streaming down my face. He sat on the sofa, silent, trying to process everything. Then, before we could even gather our thoughts, the phone rang. It was the station. A detective ordered Jake to come immediately. They wouldn't say why. Still confused, he freshened up and left. But when he arrived, he noticed something strange. The entire station was staring at him. Then, before he could say anything, a team of detectives surrounded him and placed him under arrest. Jake was shocked. "What have I done?" he asked. "Number." Answer. Just cold stares and silence. Inside the interrogation room, they sat him down. The detective across from him asked, "Where were you last night?" Jake told them everything. The chase, the shopping mall, the ambush. But the detective simply smirked and left the room. Moments later, CIA agents entered along with high-ranking officers and a Senator George. The moment Jake saw him, the senator's face twisted in anger. "You will pay for this." He spat. "I will make sure you never see daylight again." Jake, still in the dark, pleaded, "Please, tell me what happened." The agent grabbed him, shoved him against the chair, and hissed, "We'll make you talk." Then Sergeant Noah, Jake's closest friend, stepped in. "Leave us alone," he said, his voice heavy with disappointment. When they were alone, Noah looked into Jake's eyes. "Jake, why did you do it?" Jake shook his head. "Do what? I have no idea what's going on." Noah exhaled, almost as if he wished. "It wasn't true. You robbed Senator George's house." Jake froze. "What? That's impossible." Noah continued. "You broke in. You beat him brutally. You stole his gold, his diamonds. And he saw you. He identified you himself." Jake's blood ran cold. "No, Noah. You know me. I would never. I was kidnapped, I told you. They took my uniform." But then the senator stormed back in, detectives behind him. "I saw him with my own eyes," George shouted. "Sheriff Jake McColen. He wore his uniform. He pointed a gun at my head." I will never forget that face. Jake was speechless. Then something clicked in his mind. "Senator," he asked, "how did you know my name?" "How could you be so sure it was me?" George scoffed. "Because you introduced yourself. You rang my doorbell, and you said Detective Adam sent you. And Adam is my best friend. That's why I let you in." Jake's heart pounded. "Then ask Detective Adam." He'll tell you he never sent me. Detective Adam was called in. When he arrived, he looked just as confused. I never sent anyone to your house, he said. I had no idea about any of this. The room fell silent. Something wasn't adding up, despite Jake's pleas, the evidence pointed at him. He was found guilty and thrown in jail, but I knew my husband. I knew he was innocent. I didn't care what the world said. I stood by him. I hired an attorney and fought for him. The court ordered further investigation, and then finally, the truth came to light. With deeper investigation, they discovered a shocking fact. Someone inside the police force had set this up. Using CCTV footage, they tracked the real robbers, and the pieces fell into place. The mastermind? Sergeant Leo. Leo knew about the senator's friendship with Detective Adam. He knew that if someone came dressed as a cop, using Adam's name, George would open the door without hesitation. And he knew Jake was the perfect scapegoat and honest man who knew. One would suspect of such a scheme. The court cleared Jake of all charges. Senator George, ashamed, apologized. The station congratulated him. But the damage had been done. Jake learned something that day, that trust can be the most dangerous thing of all.